Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Bad Guy Ibra, aka Ibrahima. And what a fantastic performance. What a sensational performance by Gervonta Tank Davis, the native of Baltimore, Maryland, fighting by way of Atlanta, Georgia. I think that's where he fights out of. I'm not sure, mate. But what a performance by Gervonta Davis against Mario Barrios at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Honestly, the fight started. I mean, you can see a huge discrepancy in size between Gervonta Davis and obviously his opponent in Barrios. I mean, Barrios is about 5 feet 11 inches tall. Gervonta Davis, if I'm not mistaken, is about 5 feet 5 inches tall. But Davis going into the fight was very confident. He picked his shots really well. I mean, he does what Canelo does. So essentially, keeping his guard up really high, taking a couple of punches, blocking and landing his own punches as well. And he was looking sharp yesterday. He was precise with his shots, as I've mentioned. And what captivated me, or what caught my attention the most, is actually when Floyd Mayweather gave him the advice. Because as boxing fans, most of us, or the substantial majority of boxing fans watching the fight yesterday, we definitely thought, as the fight was progressing, due to Davis, the shots that Davis landed on Barrios, and when he dropped him twice, actually, way before the finish took place. We thought he was winning the round, but Floyd Mayweather actually gave him a really good advice by saying, you're losing this round, or it's very close, and which actually lit the fire up his ass, to be honest, not gonna lie. And it forced him to put the pressure on Barrios. As I've mentioned, Barrios is a very long fighter. He's 5'11", and he's very big for that division. It's super lightweight. So essentially, I'm about 6'2". I'm actually taller than Barrios, way taller. So he's fighting as super lightweight, so essentially too big for that division, not gonna lie. And Gervonta Tank Davis went up to challenge the guy, and he's now a three division champion in boxing. Absolutely sensational. Three division champion in boxing. I think a champion 130, 35, 140. I'm not sure what the different weight classes are, to be honest, but absolute fantastic by Davis. A great performance. And then this begs the question on who should be his next opponent. Real opponent. We've got Ryan Garcia in lightweight. You've got Teofimo Lopez, who obviously took all the belts for Vasyl Lomachenko, and Vasyl Lomachenko had a fantastic performance yesterday against a Japanese guy. I can't remember the guy's name, to be honest. It was a dominant performance. Anyways, you've got Devin Haney too. So yes, the problem at the moment with boxing, if you compare boxing now to boxing back in the day, was that, it was a lot easier for promotions to come together back in the day and make fights transpire, make the fights happen or materialize or transpire. But now it's a lot harder. I don't know, because of some promotional issues. So you might see Gervonta Davis obviously done really well, and you see Lomachenko with a beautiful performance yesterday. You might think that someone is going to make these fights happen, but it's never going to happen. You might, obviously, what you're going to see is Lomachenko fighting some shit guy again, and, Gervonta Davis doing the same thing as well. So we would probably never see these fights happen. But I think if there was a fight to make between two people, obviously, because Lomachenko definitely deserves a rematch against Teofimo Lopez. But if we actually put that aside for a second, I think Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis would be a great fight, because I don't think Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney are a match for Gervonta Davis or Teofimo Lopez. So definitely, but outstanding performance, honestly. Outstanding performance from Gervonta Davis, and the advice from Floyd Mayweather, as I've mentioned, was just elite, to be honest. His IQ in boxing, as we mentioned, is Mayweather, one of the greatest pound-for-pound boxers of all time. If you have Mayweather in your corner, you just can't complain, he's just a legend, absolutely fantastic. And he gave him that advice, as I've mentioned, and he incorporated that in the fight. And you see, landed a vicious uppercut to the body, which just sat him down and sat Barrios down, and Barrios couldn't get up. Barrios is a very tough guy, don't get me wrong. He's a very, 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 very tough guy. He took shots to the head. He took it multiple times and just swinging. But, the body. There's only a certain amount of punches you can take to the body until you're like, you know what, I'm actually really done, to be honest. I mean, all credit definitely goes to Gervonta Davis, to be honest. All credit goes to him. The 26-year-old from Baltimore, Maryland, just shows what a skillful fighter he is. He's not a brawler. He's a technical fighter. He picks his shot. He fought like Canelo Alvarez. He fought like how Canelo fought against Billy Joe Saunders. He fought like how Canelo fought against Sergey Kovalev. He fought like how Canelo fought against Gennady Golovkin. How Canelo fought against Callum Smith. How Canelo fought against Yildirim. That's how he fought. His IQ in boxing. His IQ in boxing is just absolute sensation. Just absolutely unprecedented in boxing. Just incredible. He's a legend. So in lightweight at the moment, because it's a very competitive division, just like in welterweight, you know, sometimes it's really hard to try and pick out who's the best because everyone's doing really well, to be honest. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, as I've mentioned, Teofimo Lopez, Vasyl Lomachenko with a beautiful performance yesterday. I mean, these fighters are doing really well, bro. Like, these fighters are doing really well. So, I don't know, man. Hopefully, one day these promotions, Bob Arum, Mushroom Boxing USA, Mayweather Promotions, the Golden Boy Promotions, all these people can actually come together, you know, get their shit together and actually make these fights happen, bro. Like, that day, as boxing fans, it's just going to be something that we would just appreciate, to be honest, innit? Like, boxing fans, you watching right now, me watching right now. It's just something that we would appreciate, but apparently they would just never make it happen because they're just nubbits. Like, I don't know why. Look at AJ Anthony Joshua, obviously in the heavyweight division, and Joshua and Tyson Fury, a fight that we've all been looking forward to essentially watching, especially in England. It's not happening anymore because Wilder obviously has the license for a rematch against the Gypsy King Tyson Fury, so this is going to be their trilogy, which, you know, it just complicates things a little bit more, to be honest, because as I've mentioned, Wilder has the potential to actually knock Tyson Fury out. I mean, with Wilder, you have to do everything right, and he just has to do one thing right to win that fight. That devastating right hand is just incredible. The same hand he knocked out multiple people. He dropped Tyson Fury with a left hook right hand or right hand left hook, and he dropped, what's the other guy? I can't remember his name, but yeah, the tall guy. Well, obviously all of them are tall. His name just, I can't remember, but yeah, the guy who fought Anthony Joshua, I can't remember, but him, yeah, he's just been knocking people out, and he knocked out the Cuban guy as well. Anyways, he's a legend. And as I've mentioned, he has the potential to knock Tyson Fury out. So if he knocks Tyson Fury out, then there's a potential that Wilder is more likely, because he's going to be the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and then more likely he's going to be facing Anthony Joshua for the unification of the heavyweight titles, which means that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is probably a fight that we would never see transpire or materialize. So yes, it's just very disappointed for us boxing fans, but obviously I'm just speaking from you know, a perspective that there's a potential of Wilder beating Fury. Anyways, I know I really went on a little bit of a tangent, to be honest. I really did went on a little bit of a tangent, but listen, guys. Gervonta Davis, man, all credit to the guy, mate. All credit to the guy. He's only out 5 feet 5 inches tall, but with a performance like that, bro, it just shows that height doesn't matter. I'm 6'2". If I would have got in the ring with Gervonta Davis, I'm way taller than the guy, but he'd still whip my ass. He would. He would. The guy just knows how to fight. He really knows how to fight, mate. He really does. I mean, and having one of the greatest pound-for-pound boxers of all time in Floyd Mayweather in his corner, it just substantiates that argument that he could potentially become the greatest lightweight boxer of all time. He might even go up welterweight. Maybe he might be too small for those fighters, not gonna lie, but there's a potential. I mean, Terence Crawford is not a very tall guy anyway. I mean, we've seen him essentially beat the hell out of a guy a lot bigger than him. Tank hits hard. Tank hits really hard, ladies and gentlemen. Never underestimate that power. So yes, Gervonta Davis, as we mentioned. Anyways, just leave it in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you want to see Tang fight next? I'm talking about between Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. All these fighters, the top fighters in the lightweight division. I mean, Leo Santa Cruz, I haven't heard about him in a long time. You've got Josh Taylor as well with a beautiful performance. So Josh Taylor might be a potential fight for Gervonta Davis anyway. So yeah, I think that's also going to be a good fight. I mean, he's a very skillful Scottish boxer. So yeah, I remember, like working at a bar for a little bit, and I had a conversation with this guy about Josh Taylor, and he's a Scottish geezer, and he's like, Josh Taylor's the best fighter, mate. It's like, that was a terrible Scottish accent anyway. But listen, Josh Taylor's a really good fighter, and yeah, I think there's a potential that Josh Taylor might fight Gervonta Tank Davis, or this Devin Haney, this Ryan Garcia, this all these fighters, Teofimo Lopez, who might obviously have a rematch against Vasyl Lomachenko. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, but I do really, really appreciate the time, to be honest. You're taking the time and obviously watching this video. It was a beautiful performance anyways at the State Farm Arena. The stadium was full. So I think COVID is done now. We don't want any lockdowns in our countries, to be honest. This COVID, it's done. Boxing is back. Mixed martial arts is back, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I appreciate you lot watching this content anyway. Make sure to comment down below. Oh, who should be Gervonta Davis's next opponents? And obviously like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, just click the videos on the side. Click the videos on the side anyway. So have yourselves a fantastic day, ladies and gentlemen.